This story happened couple years ago, and while not amazing, I found it kinda satisfying. The entitled mother was a cow walker and was generally really nice, though she was a gossip and crap stirrer. Anyway, she had worked at the company for a few years before I started, so she had seniority over me. We were both part-time. Anyways, the assistant manager and I became really good friends and we decided to go traveling overseas together. For whatever reason, we decided that around September was the best time for both of us to go, which happened to coincide with a 2-week school holiday in my country. We both asked our manager and head office if it would be okay for 2 people to be gone at the same time, and were approved. We formally applied like 2 months before the date and were officially approved. When entitled mum found out, she was pissed. For the last 5 or so years she had been working there, she had been taking every school holiday off to be with her kids. So she assumed that we would be denied our time off cause we couldn't have 3 people out of the store at once. She came up to both me and our assistant manager on separate shifts and would talk to us about our trip. She asked me what date we had picked, and when I told her, she informed me that it was really unfortunate, but that was the school holidays and she would be taking that time off to take her kids to the beach, and that she was sorry we'd have to change our plans. I can't remember what she said to our assistant manager, but I think it was similar. We were both confused and upset, thinking that something must have happened and our manager changed her mind. We obviously asked the manager and she got really pissed. Our manager is a fiery Portuguese woman who everyone equal parts loves and fears. You don't mess with her. She ripped the entitled mother a new one. Told her how disrespectful she was for trying to go behind her back, that she wasn't entitled to have every school holidays off and only did cause manager was kind enough to approve it, that she wasn't the only one working there who was a mother who would have loved to have that time off to be with their kids. Entitled mother tried to argue back that her and family had already paid for the vacation house, but manager shut her down, saying it wasn't her problem, that they already rented somewhere without applying and being approved for time off. I can't recall the particulars, but I remember that with her shifts she still would have been able to attend 4 to 5 out of the 7 days they had booked. She just would have left later and met her family at the beach. Well, that wasn't good enough for her. She ended up quitting her job over it. I still saw her from time to time. It took her a couple years to find another job, and even then I don't know how long she was there for. I generally refrain from using terms such as narcissist even for the worst offenders because hey, it's a medical condition and some people are just a-holes, but this lady is the only one I dare use the term for. Beyond that, she is very entitled and self-centered. Background: I work with teens on a variety of projects that sometimes involve traveling to foreign countries. I've been doing this for 2 years, and while it's stressful and low paying, I love my work enormously. One of the teens who's joined our projects, GT great teen from now on, is SM's daughter. She's really smart and hardworking, and also used to being the responsible adult amongst incompetent grown-ups, because that's what growing up with such a creature for a mum does to a kid. By that I mean, this lady will often force GT to watch her younger one instead of attending her rehearsals, take her to school, put her to bed etc. The mum never cooked, so GT has serious health issues, anemia, low calcium, eating disorder etc. She doesn't take GT to the hospital when she's sick for months etc. etc. There's more I could add, just know she is an awful parent, not just an entitled one. The story: after the latest summer camp I'd organized, Em contacted me to see if I'd be interested in going on an Erasmus Plus project with GT and a friend of hers. This sort of project means you attend workshops, do some activities specific to the theme, all in exchange for free travel and accommodation. I hadn't participated in one before, but I knew the structure and the particular topic of this project interested me a lot, so I said yes, thinking I'd be the coordinator. This is where her entitlement first kicks in, because after I'd accepted I find out that no, it's actually her boyfriend, useless man-child, now her ex, who will hold this title, as Em wants this project to be a birthday gift for him, sort of like an all expenses covered vacation. My alarm bells went off, but it was too late to back out at that point. Despite being the group coordinator, Em still relied on me to figure out flights, accommodation, train connections, everything. I fully regretted ever saying yes to this person, but again, too late to back out. In search for cheap accommodation for the days traveling to and from the project, not covered in the E+ budget, I found a nice, cheap room on Airbnb. M wanted me to book it, but I had no funds on my card, so I told her the booking should be made from her daughter's account. I repeatedly stressed not to book the place from her own account, because of a variety of reasons. A. It goes against the AB policy, and, most important to the story, B. We would not be able to contact the hosts while they're through the platform, or have the address and details available, and so on. Of course, M didn't listen. I found out on the night before traveling, so I kept pushing for to get the accommodation address from her, since I wanted nothing to do with her by this point. Travel day arrives, and we have a grueling day-long flight schedule. Is busy getting drunk in a bar near the layover airport, while I make my way with the teens through the labyrinth of gates. He still doesn't have the address until shortly before we board the plane. We land with some delay and start making our way towards the address on public transport. M told the hosts we'd arrive around 11 PM, which was actually the time we finally left the airport. But, no matter, they said they had a late check-in until 1 AM. Due to some mishaps with Google Maps, we get there at 12:45. I start calling the buzzer and knocking on TH door, but nobody replied. I call M to get a phone number from her to contact the hosts, but she doesn't reply. She is already asleep. So we take a moment to catch our breath and take in the situation. GT still tries to come up with other ways of getting in contact with her. M. We make fun about maybe sleeping in the nearby police station. We decide to make our way to the train station and wait for the earliest train. At this point we've already been traveling for over 12 hours and we are exhausted, dirty, and cold. In the train station, the guard begrudgingly allows us to sleep in the waiting room, where there's a weird Ukrainian who, as a hello, gestures that if we need to go to the toilet, we'll have to use the small trash bins in the room. Yes, seriously, because as I said, we weren't allowed to leave that room until the station officially opened, and also because the bathrooms were locked, lest Junker should attempt to shoot up in there. Doesn't care, and is the first to fall asleep. The teens and I are concerned about where we could charge our drained phones, who is gonna stay awake to keep an eye on the luggage, the fact that it's cold, and we have nowhere to pee. GT finally falls asleep, followed by her friend. I rummage through my bags to find something to cover them, since it's really cold. I finally crashed around 4.30 when GT was awoken by M. M blamed the whole thing on the hosts, and I was just too exhausted to even get mad anymore. We catch the first train around 7 in the morning and have to change twice to get to our destination. M texts BT to let her know that she used her usual Karen powers to bully the hosts into providing us with a free night for our return. I felt bad for them, since I still don't think they were in any way responsible for the F-up. We are currently still on the project. Is still useless, and GT is still great. I haven't answered M's calls or texts since that night, and she understood not to contact me anymore. As for me, I came up with a little song and rhyme in my language that goes along the lines of "your mama's dumb, she don't know how to read," that I use as a mantra whenever annoyance bubbles up regarding M. It sounds way funnier in my language. Hopefully we'll have a place to sleep on the trip back. I've read a lot of stuff on this sub and never thought I'd encounter a situation like this in real life. I don't think it's as bad as the ones I've read, but I thought I'd share. EM equals entitled mother. K equals M's kid. B equals butcher. So to set the scene, my girlfriend and I were shopping for groceries in a local supermarket. We were browsing the butcher section for some beef when from behind us, we hear a K crying. We turned around to see what's going on, and there's K holding a pocket of chicken and the M is trying to take it away from her. My girlfriend and I thought nothing of it and continued to browse a selection of meat. But all of a sudden we hear the M yell, "How dare you! My family is vegan." Naturally, my girlfriend and I turn to see what's going on. B is doing his job slicing some cold cuts with one of those meat cutting machines. Note that B is a foreign worker from Bangladesh. So B looks very confused at this point and asks the lady what's wrong. M then gives him the middle finger and yells, "You Bangalore F." B then says I'm just doing my job. I did nothing wrong to you, why are you shouting? And M yells back, how dare you cut that meat in front of me and my baby girl, we are vegan. And so B politely replies, it's my job to cut and prepare the meat products. You're in the butcher section. M then proceeds to say, I want to see your visa. I'll have you deported for being disrespectful. B then says, you're not the police or immigration. I don't have to show you anything. This is when M loses the plot. She grabs the packet of chicken from K and hurls it at B and yells, Pukimakau, a slang term in Malay for your mother's vagina, stupid Bangla. B then retreats into the back room and assumingly informs security. A few security guards then come to assess the situation and the M and K are escorted out of the building. The whole time she's being escorted, she'd yelling, fine stupid Bangla, deport the bastard. I'm surprised she was not arrested for assault. I'm not very versed in law, but I'm pretty sure throwing something at someone without being provoked is something you can be arrested for. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person. I know. Anyways, peace out and catch you tomorrow.